The country that created BlackBerries and gave birth to iPhones has more than 300 million wireless users. And in the name of national security, the U.S. government will soon have a direct link to each and every handheld device.
It's like a police officer's gun. It's there for a good reason, but we hope that we never have to pull the trigger.
Gathered at the scene of the September 11th terrorist attacks, federal and New York City officials joined the CEOs of the 4 largest wireless carriers to announce the nation's new tech tool, an alert system enabling the president and government agencies to blast every American with text messages warning of terror threats, weather disasters, and kidnappings. The cell phone alert system will launch in New York City and Washington, D.C. by the end of this year, expanding nationwide thereafter. Wireless users may have the option of not receiving certain alerts, though Americans will not be able to opt out of text messages sent by the U.S. president. Opponents say politicians are promoting more fear while providing little protection.
Now we have a system of mandatory and inescapable alerts through every cell phone in the land in the event that the government decides that something's happening that we ought to know about. Now, just as the introduction of the Patriot Act came right after 9/11, so this new kind of technological invasion comes to us without any public discussion right after the assassination of Osama bin Laden.
NYU professor and author Mark Crispin Miller says Americans are living in an age of creeping authoritarianism and scare tactics.
The use of fear for any kind of government that craves more control over people's lives and thoughts is that it makes people malleable. It makes them obedient. I mean, you go to any airport today and you can see this in action, that people are meekly taking off their shoes, submitting to getting groped.
Under the auspices of airport safety, babies, senior citizens, and everyone in between must now endure pat-downs or pass through body scanners before boarding. In the case of Muslim Americans, that may not be enough. 6 days following the killing of Osama bin Laden, 4 imams on 2 separate U.S. flights were illegally kicked off planes for looking suspicious.
You have a few hate mongers who can arouse their, evoke their emotions, and that's what people do. They play on people's emotions. They play on people's ignorance about Islam and Muslims, you see? And so this is what's created a climate of fear, you see?
If you see something suspicious in the parking lot or in the store, say something immediately.
In December, the Department of Homeland Security began encouraging Americans to report suspicious activity to the country's largest food retailer. Walmart's partnership with Washington has been accused of perpetrating a climate of panic and subsequent need for more surveillance.
You need to create an enemy for people to rally behind endless wars and the fact that we're spending over 50% of our taxes on war and our national defense when there's really no threat directly to this country. They need to keep validating this spending.
Following the assassination of enemy number 1, an American lawmaker called for an increase in rail safety funding and the creation of a no-ride list. As U.S. officials warn of more terror threats following bin Laden's death, many Americans remain concerned, while others are left wondering about the dangers of forsaking too much liberty for security. Marina Portnaya, RT, New York.